Alrighty, so this is for parents that are interested in helping their kids do super well this year in AP Calculus. So I like to always make sure that I share helpful things, free things online. And so probably the best thing for your student that's free online is something called Flipped Math. These are teachers that have aligned a curriculum with College Board, and it just looks really clean and it matches their classroom. And assuming your teacher's following the AP curriculum, which hopefully they are, this will be a great resource for your student. So let's say your student is in Unit 2.2, they're learning what a derivative is and how it works together, and they don't really know how to do it. So if they come to this website, they can just go to 2.2 because that's the same across AP, and they can have a video explaining it. They can have a blank notes packet, and then they can actually have the practice solutions. And as a teacher, like when I'm preparing a lesson, I need the solutions, or else it's just going to take me forever to get this lesson ready to go. Okay. And so the fact that there's a lot of solutions provided here, because a lot of times when something is free, you have to pay for solutions. So I'm really grateful to these teachers that make this accessible to other teachers, and it's online, so it's accessible to students as well. There's some really good reviews in there as well. Mid-unit reviews as well as end of unit. And so I would encourage any student to do that when they are reviewing for a test. And again, it does a pretty good job of following the curriculum unit by unit. So really great resource. The next best resource, in my opinion, is Tony Record. He's a mentor math teacher of mine, and his playlists are just phenomenal. A student can get and learn all of calculus just in this YouTube channel. And so it's broken down by each unit. It goes through the whole curriculum. So I always direct my students to Mr. Record. Shout out, Mr. Record. Thanks for all you've done for me. And it's just a great way for them to learn all of the different units again, section by section through College Board. So again, I always, anytime I can, shout out Flipped Math. I've benefited so much from them as a teacher, and Mr. Record, he's just phenomenal. Now, a lot of parents ask how I can support their student. And so I work with a team of teachers like Anna. Hey, Anna. She helps me support kids online. And we do that in a couple ways. Okay, so we really have four things that we do really well for kids, I think. So the fact that we offer daily homework support through Skool, that's where kids can drop a question any day of the week, and they can get support from me and some other teachers. So that looks like this. This is kind of our homepage. I'm not going to scroll through it a bunch because of privacy reasons, right? Especially working with students. But Ariel is a student who's okay with me sharing a little bit about his story. So this is an example. So he was working on something 6 days ago, it looks like. And he said, I was wondering if you could explain this because basically I don't know what to do. And so he attached a couple pictures, which is helpful. And then I think what's special that we do is that we actually send a video explaining what some good next steps are. And then we also work it out for them if that's needed as well. And so again, a student is getting quite a bit of homework help or just concept help, practice for tests when they use this resource. And again, it's nice to have multiple teachers there helping you out. Again, shout out Alexandra. She's such a hard worker. Shout out Anna, Isaac, Matt, just a lot of really great teachers that help me do this, right? Because we're all just trying to be helpful. And so that's one thing that I think is super beneficial for students. So if you feel like that would help your kid, there'll be a link in the comments here for you to check it out and see how it goes. The next thing I think we do well is that we do live classes twice a week. Okay. And that's designed because sometimes kids need like an extra lesson to either solidify their knowledge or get ahead in class. We try to stay ahead of where most schools are so that if they learn it first with us, when they go to learn it at school, it's less of a fire hose, if that makes sense. At Purdue, I was always just like frantically copying down my notes and couldn't actually engage in the lessons. But my students have less of that experience at their high school because they learn it with us ahead of time. And that way, when they go to school, they're kind of that kid that's able to like raise their hand, kind of lead the lesson along. because they learned it ahead of time with us. And so that's a really helpful thing. We've also had a couple kids self-study. So they get all of the 8 units of AB or the 10 units of BC in these classes all year long. So a kid last year self-studied with us, got a 5 because there was like a scheduling conflict at his school. And so this was his calculus class, if that makes sense. Other students don't think they have great teachers, so they like this because they feel like they are getting a high level of calculus instruction from us. And then honestly, I'm always going to benefit the teacher as a teacher. That my first year of teaching calculus, I was not great. Again, shout out Mr. Record for mentoring me and helping me along. Brian Passwater as well, Coach Tip, really great teachers around me making me better. But I my first year of teaching calculus, I didn't even teach unit 7 at school. It's kind of like the stepchild of all the units. And I just told the kids, hey, we don't have time. You got to learn this on your own. Like, I'll be here before school, after school, during lunch, but in class time, we didn't cover it. And so when these students sign up for this class, they know, okay, I'm going to learn all of these units by the end of March so that I have all of April and a little bit of May to really practice for the AP exam. Now, if your kid never got live help for their homework, that wouldn't be great. So we also have multiple office hours a week where they can just come get homework help. And those are usually a 1-to-5 ratio, worst case scenario. Once 5 kids book in, we make sure that a second teacher is on because we really want to keep those office hour ratios down as much as possible, right? Nobody wants to wait around on a Zoom call because Jimmy's got 20 questions, right? And so when it's a smaller ratio, it's helpful to kind of get through the call as well. And it kind of makes the teacher less stressed out either. So that's a helpful thing for office hours. Right now, those are Wednesday and Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we actually do offer more as the year goes on, but this is like the guaranteed time slots right now at the recording of this video. Then the last thing, which I'm actually most proud of, I think, is our mock exam scheduling. Okay. And so what that looks like is sometimes kids are not always the most responsible and on top of their stuff. So we give the parents and the students this link. And that way, if let's say Anna has a test in unit 2 on calculus of September 26th, she could book this into our calendar. Her name is Anna Berg. And I'm not going to put her phone number on there because that's rude, but I'll put mine. Feel free to send me a text. It's always fun when people do that. I have the unit 2 exam. And so what that does is it triggers our system to make sure we're checking in with Anna. We don't want that unit 2 exam to come around and be like, oh man, I didn't even practice that much for it. And so we really want to be pushing mock exams, pushing lots of review for the student. Okay, so I booked that in. That means that Anna, sometime that day on the 26th, is going to have her exam at school. So that way, once it's the 19th, 18th, 17th, I'm saying to Anna, hey, you've got a test coming up. What can we be doing to prepare? And this is why Anna's here, because she's my study space specialist. This is kind of where our mock exams live, okay? And so this is where students have a login, and this is where things are going to live so that they can do their exams. Now, for the sake of privacy, I'm not going to share my screen completely here because I don't want to share anybody's information without their permission, obviously, but there's a lot of different exams posted in here. So again, this is a Unit 1 exam, and it's an exam I gave in the past to my high school students. And so what we try to do is make sure that we are giving kids similar exams, similar level of rigor that they would experience at their high school. And we have a lot of these. We have a lot of teachers that have taught for several years, some teachers 20 years of AP Calculus. And so what we want to do is utilize those older exams to give kids a model. And this is not anything brand new. This is the thing that even like Purdue exams, calculus, I could look this up myself. But the thing this is where I got this idea from. Thanks, Purdue. Boiler up. They have all their old exams posted, some with answers, some with worked out solutions, but there wasn't something great like this out there for kids to do for AP Calculus. So this is what I tried to do with Anna and these other teachers. So that's kind of the all-encompassing program. A lot of students and parents have questions about how their kid can do well, and I really think this is one way to do it. So essentially, it's daily homework help, it's weekly live classes to usually get ahead. That's kind of the point of those. And then live homework help, office hours, or exam preparation, and then the mock exam scheduling, where they essentially attempt a mock exam of the unit they're in calculus. So with that, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM, and you can join our Skool community. Again, it will be linked in the comments here, and you can join a lot of other students. One little bonus here that I actually didn't mention is the free calls that happen once you join the Skool community. So if you know, I push these a lot. So for example, like Wednesday nights, there's at the recording of this video, this might change since if this becomes old, but for 8 weeks, teachers commit to putting on a call to help the students in this community. So Dr. K leads an AP Bio call. She's doing that for 8 weeks. Natalie is doing an ACT math call for 8 weeks. Tim has done a lot of calls, way more than 8 weeks. So thanks, Tim. Dr. Choppy, she runs a Common App essay call, giving kids feedback on what they should be doing for their essays. Miriam does a physics call. And so there's just a lot of teachers that have done different calls. Anna does an algebra call. She also did some SAT calls. Shout out Anna. Maggie and Jackie did a history call this summer for a while. And so there's a lot of different teachers trying to help your kid be successful. So it's not always just math. That's the main thing that we do, but we do have other teachers reaching out that want to be helpful. So if that feels like something you would want to be a part of, feel free to send me a message.